What's up, guys? I keep getting this question all the time. Is it profitable to craft in the early expansion just buying materials off the auction house? Well, yes. Seriously, that's the answer. Yes. You'll have to watch the rest of the video. Well, you should, because you're going to learn why. And exactly why I believe this, because I believe this. Yes, buying materials and just crafting stuff to sell for profit is extremely profitable. It's not just profitable, it is literally the most profitable thing you can do with professions in the entire game. There are some things you can do that are more profitable, but if you're talking about using professions, going hard with crafting very early on is the #1 thing you can do to make gold. So these early market dynamics, everyone knows materials are expensive. They're so expensive early expansion. You should be farming. Well, what they don't consider is that if materials are expensive, so are the finished items. Even if you want to craft them for yourself, you have to pay the material cost. And you might consider just buying it from someone else, because those finished items that you can use the materials to craft, they are way more useful. And what's the general thing I always preach about what's profitable to craft and sell in this game? It's items that are useful for other players. It's items that make you more powerful and cooler. And when is the time in the expansion where crafted items give you the largest performance benefit? Well, it's the first patch. It's the first gearing cycle. And that's it. And then you have the people buying materials. Who's buying materials? Players who are power leveling their professions, players who are crafting something for themselves, or players who are crafting for a profit. And which of those groups do you think spends the most amount of gold or buys the largest amount of materials? I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to be the people crafting for a profit. They have a huge impact on the price of materials. If you cannot make a profit at the current prices, they're going to fall rapidly until they stabilize at some point where people can craft with a profit. That's generally the trend, and then people are going to buy the finished items. That's what they most want to spend gold on. They want to get their Darkmoon decks, they want to get their gems, they want to get their crafted gear, they want to get anything they can get their hands on to improve their characters. And anyone who's, say, looking to craft Darkmoon decks to sell, they're going to buy hundreds of times more herbs than one player looking to level up Inscription to max. That's pretty much it. Now, I've done gold making, just buying materials at launch in huge number of expansion launches. Well, not huge, because obviously there's not that many expansion launches. I've done this in BFA, I've done this in Shadowlands, I've done this in TBC recently. In every last one of those expansions, it's been extremely profitable to craft with materials bought on the auction house. I mean, just look at some of these graphs. This is my Shadowlands gold graph. It's absolutely incredible. It's monstrously profitable to craft. Seriously, it is. You cannot, under any circumstance, underestimate the extreme amount of gold players are willing to spend to gear up early on. And then you have people who are GDKP mains in Wrath Classic, which has just come out. Of course they're looking to spend. Of course they're looking to spend. So, I'm going to show you, this is what I typically see, what I've seen in the last couple of expansions. This graph, I made this up completely. Source me. There's no this is my truth. This is what I've experienced. The lower line, the bottom line, this is the material price. General, how it's generally going to unfold. And the top line, it's the finished item price for anything that's useful. It can be a piece of gear, it can be a gem, whatever. So on day one, actually they usually start a little higher and then go down, and then they spike up when people start buying them. Everyone's buying them, everyone's looking to buy them. They spike up probably a little more rapidly than this graph, but whatever. Then they reach their peak and they start trending downwards. Now the one thing you'll notice is that as they trend downwards, generally speaking, the finished items is going down a little bit more, because usually for a period of time they're going to be selling for 2 to 3 to 5 times the crafting cost. And then eventually they stabilize to somewhere between 20 and 50% more than the material costs. That's the general trend. Which means that the time to buy and craft finished items with what you buy from the auction house, the best time to do that is in the first period, before prices start going down. So yeah. Now, You might not be convinced. I'm not. If you're not, then go ahead and go farm. I'll be super happy if you don't take my advice, to be honest, because the more farmers and less crafters, that means way more profit for me. That being said, I think I've covered this in a video as well on like the incredible power of preparing for patch launches. I think that going absolutely as hard as possible with crafting professions and anything that's related to gearing and initial just getting your characters ready in a new patch is the way to go for absolutely optimal gold making from a time perspective. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be running my, well, will have been doing. I'm recording this just like 1 hour before Wrath launches, so it's super risky, but I don't care. I truly believe this will be proven right by the next 6 days, where I will have made a ton of profit before this has made it out to all of you. I can't wait to dive into crafting, man. It's gonna be fun. It's always been the case in the past that crafting early on is incredibly profitable. I expect this to be the case in Wrath as well, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun. We'll see you in Wrath, guys.